Sony's WH-1000 series of headphones have long been a benchmark in the category, with their flagships frequently topping many of our best lists over the years. Now, after 3 years, the WH-1000XM6 have finally arrived to take up the mantle from the popular Sony WH-1000XM5s. But are the upgrades meaningful enough to justify buying the new model, or even replacing your current pair, especially given the higher price tag? After putting these through our testing lab and spending a week with them both, we've broken down the differences to help you decide whether the XM6 or the XM5 is the right set of cans for you. Now, at first glance, if you aren't super familiar with Sony headphones, you might think that these are the same headphones. I mean, really, can you guess which one is the XM5 and XM6? I mean, I guess I kind of gave it away in the intro, but spoiler alert, these are the new ones. But in terms of usage and design, Sony keeps what works and tries to refine what doesn't. One such issue which I was personally anticipating, which you might have guessed if you saw my last video, was whether or not Sony fixed the hinge. You see, this was a very common problem with the XM5s, where the hinge was a breaking point for many users. And I'm happy to report that it looks like Sony did fix them. See here in the middle? You can see they added a metal piece in between the plastic parts where the ear cups fold to add some extra durability so that it won't break so easily. Of course, we'll have to see how these hold up over time, but it definitely feels like they strengthened that Achilles heel. Speaking of folding, the XM6 can now completely fold up into itself, something that the XM5 couldn't do. These ones could only rotate to lay flat. Now, folding up this way isn't actually new for Sony. The previous XM4s could also fold up this way, but it's nice to see Sony return to this form factor because it does make for more compact storage. Although, being able to fold this way does mean that the hinge has more possible points of failure now. So time will tell if the trade-off was worth it. I'm actually planning to do a deep dive into this whole hinge business, so stay tuned for that article.
Or video.
Yeah, it might be a video, we'll see. Another thing that I was hoping Sony improved on but didn't was in the ear cup size. See, the ear cup depth is much too shallow and the padding is not enough. The padding here honestly kind of looks like it's already deflated. I mean, look at this. These are our 3-year-old XM5s and these are our brand new XM6, and the padding looks pretty much the same. It's kind of like if you bought a brand new couch and there's a huge butt print right in the middle of it. There's simply not enough cushioning on the ear cups or on the top of the headband either, for that matter. And combined with the shallowness of the ear cups, there's just not a lot of room for people with larger ears like myself. To make matters worse, the ANC unit actually protrudes from the mesh fabric on the inside of the ear cup, which means that if you do have larger ears, that will rub up against them and become rather uncomfortable. The ear cups are removable as well. Although they're not magnetic, they're just plastic clips that you can snap on and off like so. Perhaps we will see some third-party ear pads that provide a bit more cushion for the push-in, isolation, to help remedy these gripes. The carrying case has also been improved. It's now a lot more compact, and there's no zipper like the previous XM5 case, but it does have a magnetic clip to keep everything intact. It's also got a nice little storage pouch on the corner here for cables and such. You know, overall, they're not really the most exciting looking. Let me just figure out how to snap this back in. It would have been nice if they had like one big clip where you see, oh, I see, like these things kind of are supposed to line up. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you're cracking your neck or something when you remove them.
Satisfying.
Yeah. You know, overall, they're not the most exciting looking headphones. They're sleek and subtle, and really more of a XM5 2.0, if you will, rather than a whole new headphone overhaul. Connecting out of the box is easy, the control scheme is familiar, and you don't actually even need to use the app to use them. You can just pair and start playing. As for features, the XM6 carries over many of the same features from the XM5s, using the same Sony Sound Connect app, which enables such things like a 10-band custom equalizer, plenty of EQ presets, you can toggle pass-through features like speak to chat, and use head gestures. There's also spatial audio via 360 reality audio platform. Additionally, you can also now upmix stereo audio using Sony's own spatial sound technology, similar to how Apple's spatialized sound feature works. Now, one feature we were hoping to see from the XM6, something that was missing from the previous XM5, was wired audio via USB-C. Sure, there is a headphone jack, but the USB-C connector is already kind of taking its place. So Sony could have really killed two birds with one stone, or one port here. You can at least listen to the headphones while it is charging via USB-C now, which was a feature that was missing from the XM5s. The Sony XM6 supports Bluetooth 5.3, which is an upgrade over the XM5's 5.2, and still carries over LDAC, AAC, and SBC codec support. Notably, because LC3 and LE connections are present, the XM6 will also support Auracast connectivity to tune in and out of local broadcasts as those become more prevalent. My colleague Christian found that forcing LDAC to 660 kilobits per second was the best blend of stability and performance in his usage, but you might have to tinker around in your phone setting to keep it that way. You can also enable multipoint, but you gotta settle for a lower bitrate codec if you do so. So in our testing, the Sony WH-1000XM6 lasted 37 hours and 14 minutes with ANC on, and that is a substantial improvement over the XM5's 31 hours and 53 minutes. Both headphones have the same fast charging specs, with just 3 minutes of charging giving you up to 3 hours of playback. The Sony XM6 carries over the AI noise rejection of the XM5, but it now employs 6 AI beamforming mics, which means 2 additional mics and some new AI tech. What does that all amount to? Well, it means the XM6 are going to be a little bit better at picking up sound from your mouth while rejecting unwanted ambient noise from other directions. We encourage you to go check out our full review on SoundGuys.com, where you can listen to all the sample microphone recordings from a variety of simulated environments, so you can decide for yourself which one sounds better to you. Now, onto the noise canceling capabilities. The TLDR here is that yes, while the XM5s had great noise canceling, the XM6 are just that much better, which is in large part due to the excellent passive isolation they exhibit. By physically blocking out a really high amount of outside noise, provided you can get a good seal around your ears, the XM6 allows the ANC system to shine in the sub 1 kHz region, canceling out outside noise quite well. On average, the XM6 attenuates 87% of outside noise, which is an improvement over the XM5's already impressive average of 84% noise reduction. Now, onto the big question: how do the Sony WH-1000XM6 sound? To cut to the chase, these are the best sounding WH series headphones from Sony to date. And really, I mean, is anyone surprised by that? Like, come on, it's Sony. But yeah, honestly, we don't really have any major gripes with the sound quality of these headphones. Looking at the frequency response chart, you can see that it does have a bit more emphasis in the lows than what our house curve recommends, but it's tolerable. You get less bass over emphasis than what you get with the Sony XM5, and far less than what you get with Sony's Altwear headphones. The highs are also not as overemphasized as they were with the XM5s, which was about 4 decibels higher than what our curve looks for, around 3 kHz, and this can really help reduce fatigue during long listening sessions. The highs are not as bright as the XM5 headphones, and the XM6 have a really consumer-friendly response. Our virtual panel of listeners would agree, giving the XM6 an overall score of 4.8 in our MDAX results, which exceeds the Sony XM5's overall score of 4.2. Every metric, as you can see, is improved, with notably less distortion. So if you're deciding between these two headphones, a big thing to consider is the price difference. The Sony XM6 retails for $449.99 USD, which is a step up from the XM5's retail price of $399.99. We've also seen the XM5 frequently go on sale for less than that. So if you're looking for the best value, I'd say the XM5 are still the best bang for your buck. Sure, the XM6 are the best Sony has to offer to date. They have better sound quality, better battery, and better noise canceling capabilities. But in a way, that's exactly what I expected from Sony. What I was hoping to see from them is that they would go the extra mile and improve upon the often overlooked creature comforts, like giving us better ear padding, USB-C audio, and maybe some higher quality codec support like Snapdragon Sound. Sure, you do get Auracast support, but you can find that in many other headphones that offer that and everything I just mentioned for a cheaper price tag too. If you already own the Sony WH-1000XM5s, I'd say there's no real urgency to upgrade here either, unless you really want the best ANC and sound quality, or if you happen to break your hinge and you need a more durable pair of Sony headphones. But then again, that's also kind of a wait and see scenario. If you want to explore everything that the Sony WH-1000XM6 has to offer, be sure to watch our full review right over here.